Hey guys, Retro Reviews here again with another Transformers video review. This time I'll be taking a look at the Transformers Cybertron Deluxe Class Override figure. So, before I get started in this review, I did want to point out that this is the Hasbro Cybertron release of Override. The big difference between both Override and the Japanese counterpart from Galaxy Force, it doesn't really have that much to do with the toy, but so much it does with the character. So I'll be referring to this as Override and referring to it as a her because this is the Hasbro Override figure, not the Takara Nitro Convoy. Because in the original dub of Galaxy Force, Nitro Convoy, the leader of the Speed Planet, Speedia, was a male. And then when Hasbro dubbed it and made it for Transformers Cybertron, they thought they needed more of a female presence in the show, so they chose Override to be switched over to a female. So, which is a pretty nice touch. I do like that they added another female character into the show that doesn't have like the stereotypical thin, girly body type. So it was a really nice touch that Hasbro did on that. So as a Velocitronian vehicle, just like Clocker and Breakdown that I reviewed before, she does have the clear wheels that allow for some really smooth rolling. Unfortunately, with the way that she's constructed, some of the stuff will sometimes get jammed underneath. I've got a hair that keeps getting stuck in the way. Alright, so yeah, so some of the stuff underneath does end up clashing and rubbing up against the ground, and it's also very difficult sometimes to get everything lined up when you get it transformed back. So if you get it all done right, then she does roll pretty well in her car mode. Obviously we have a very Energon Ironhide-esque case of her head sticking out of the top of the car, which is no big deal. She's from a planet where she doesn't need a disguise. This is just her go fast mode. So other than that, some other nice gold detail paint on what would be the headlights, and nothing really going on in the back. Some other red and metallic blue accents. I do like the gold trim along the canopy. And if you can see inside, yes, there is 2 seats. So even though she lives on a planet where there's no humans, she does still have seats for humans because I don't know. So just to put her up side by side with her other contemporaries from Velocitron, I'm going to go ahead and bring Clocker and Breakdown here so you can see all 3 of them. And they look like a nice little trio together in car mode. I'll have to take these guys off camera and deal with them later. Her Cyber Key gimmick. I'm going to take out her specialized Cyber Key now, which is just the gold bordered Velocitron Cyber Planet key, as opposed to the regular silver one. So this indicates that she is in fact the leader of the Speed Planet. So she holds the power of the Cyber Key, or Cyber Planet key of Velocitron. And to go ahead and access the gimmick, I'm going to go ahead and plug the key into the port there. And on doing so, we get these 2 little cannons that flip out of the side. So that's pretty cool, pretty nice touch. I do like that that gimmick. It works really well. Very hard to get in the way. Now, for the other gimmick that gets in the way, we're going to go ahead and discuss the transformation. I don't know why they decided to do this, but her transformation is almost entirely automorph. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to remove this back piece here first, and then come to the front of the car, and there's this black section here above these headlights, and what we're going to do is we're going to push that in, and when we do that, it did not get caught on camera, so we're going to have to try that again. And sometimes it does get a little difficult. It doesn't want to work right. So I'm going to try this again and hopefully get it in camera this time. So we're going to push on that little section here, and her arms pop up, and then her chest and back go into place. So then what we do to finish up the transformation here is we're going to unpeg the legs, fold this backpack piece all the way around, and then that pegs in there, and then we're going to take these sections and fold them around, and that will become her waist. And then rotate the legs around here at this thigh swivel. Fold the feet down and fold the heel out. And, whoa. There we have Override in her robot mode. And mine has the loosest ball joints in the hips. So hopefully we can get through this review without her falling. I'm going to take a quick break right now and get Clocker and Breakdown transformed so I can use them later. Alright, so like I was saying, here we have Override in her robot mode. I'm going to have to move the camera up here and get a good look at her head sculpt here. Careful, don't fall. So, yeah, pretty nice head sculpt going on. A little bit of a, again, I don't want to say Gundam-esque too much, but it does kind of have like the whole crest and camera look that a Gundam has. A big difference between the toys for Nitro Convoy and Override is that the face, Override's face is painted orange, whereas Nitro Convoy's face would be painted gold. As you can see, she does have metallic blue eyes painted, and unfortunately this is like one of the first instances I've ever seen this, but we have the neutered light piping. So we have the light piping brick here in place, which would go all the way through, but they painted the eyes over. Now, granted, I don't think Override would have looked good, or Nitro Convoy would have looked good with red eyes, so I like the blue-eyed approach better, and I can see that why they didn't cast that as a blue piece, because they would need to cast that as a whole separate piece on the mold, and that would have just been not cost effective. So I understand that decision. Now bring the camera back because I did bring it up too far. I'm sorry, my dog decided to just randomly bark at the front door when there's nobody here. So, anyways, Poseability. Another big detriment that this figure has is because of the automorph transformation, it does limit the posability a little bit. Sorry. I don't understand why they couldn't do this, but the head is pinned in, but there is absolutely no articulation. It can't move the head at all. The arms, we do get 360-degree rotation at the shoulder, as well as another joint here to bend it out, and another joint to rotate at the bicep. We also get a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and so the arms are not bad, but coming down here to the waist, due to the transformation, the waist is fixed and can't really move in or move around any. The hips, they are on ball joints, and as you can see, mine are extremely loose. I have done the floor polish method with this figure countless times. That's actually why this joint here for transformation is kind of frozen up. But every time I do that, all of the floor polish gets scraped off and it gets loose again. But anyways, we've got a kick out that far and can kick that far forward and that far back. We do get a thigh swivel, and we get a bend at the knee, and we get not really any articulation in the feet, because of the way, at least for my figure, because of how loose the legs are. She's not making any outstanding poses anytime soon without the assistance of like a base or something. Yeah, you can see the legs are incredibly loose right now. Alright, come on, just stand still so I can finish the review. There. Okay, so now for quick size comparison here, I'm going to go ahead and put her next to Breakdown and Clocker. So as you can see, she's pretty nice sized for a deluxe class. She does tower over the other scouts from the line, as she should, because she is bigger. Here she is next to the unarmored Ultra Magnus from Siege. So as you can see, she does stand a little shorter than a modern day Voyager. Not by much though, but yeah, she is a little shorter than him. And getting that out of the way and bringing her gun in again. So this is the only other accessory she has. And as you can see again with the cyber key, it just pops open these cannons, and she can hold the gun with this peg here. Just pegs into her hand like so. And then she can hold it up. But also, now this is something I do like that the other two didn't really have, is that she does have storage. You can open up this back panel here and plug this back in, just like how it was before we transformed her. And then we're going to take this peg and line it up with that hole. And she actually has weapon storage, which that is a nice touch. I don't know many Transformers at this day and age that had just designated weapon storage in robot mode besides holding onto it in their hand. So that's a pretty nice touch for this figure. So overall, she's gonna not want to stand anymore. So there we go. Overall, Override is a really middle ground figure from the Cybertronian line. She does have the added benefit of coming with a gold bordered Cyberplanet key for Velocitron, but due to the transformation, she comes off extremely blocky, and especially blockier than her CGI model. And because of the transformation, she does lose out on a couple very important articulation points, and also is extremely top heavy. So if you end up getting this one and like mine, the hips get loose, there's almost no fixing it, unless you just keep applying floor polish over and over again. And unfortunately, that's where mine is standing. So I do recommend this figure. She is a nice addition to the collection. Either this one or the Nitro Convoy, depending on if you want show accuracy or if you just don't really care about the slight details between the two. I definitely would recommend getting Override over Nitro Convoy because she is a lot cheaper. Just make sure that if you get them secondhand, they're complete, and have some floor polish ready. So, yeah, I say if you can, I don't really hate this figure so much, just it has some flaws, and especially mine getting extremely weak in the legs is a big issue. So like, I'd be praising this thing more if it wasn't for that problem. Anyways, this has been Retro Reviews. I hope you guys like this video review, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.